This is Shravani. Welcome to my channel NCERT Made Easy. In this video, we will discuss the previous year questions of Child Development and Pedagogy of Paper 2, January 2021. Question number 1. To promote meaningful learning in the classrooms, a teacher should 1. Help students to regulate their own emotions and motivation. 2. Categorize and label students according to their performance and make ability grouping. 3. Promote dialogue and discussion among children to build multiple perspectives. 4. Ignore diversity in the classroom and follow standard methods of instruction. In order to encourage meaningful learning in the classroom, as a teacher, what you should do? Help students to regulate their own emotions and motivation. As a teacher, we should always focus, or we should always teach the students to regulate their own emotions and the motivations. It is right. Categorize and label students according to their performance and make ability grouping. We should never categorize the students on their ability. This is the wrong option. Promote dialogue and discussion among children to build multiple perspectives. See, dialogue and discussion will help children to develop a multiple perspective. Multiple perspective means think in a different ways regarding a situation. This is called multiple perspective. When you are organizing a dialogue or a discussion, dialogue means nothing but a type of conversation. Discussion means a conversation, we are doing it for a decision. That is the difference between the dialogue and the discussion. By promoting or by organizing or by encouraging the dialogue and the discussion in the classroom, it helps the child to build the multiple perspectives regarding a situation. This is the right one. Ignore diversity in the classroom and follow standard methods of instruction. Here, ignore is the negative thing. Whatever the situation in the classroom, we should never ignore the situation. We should not ignore any situation in the classroom. And here they also give that to follow the standard method. If we want to cover a larger people, means if you, by putting in mind the individual differences, if we want to reach each and every child the instruction what we are giving, we should always follow the differentiated instruction. Standard method of instruction is not a correct thing in the classroom where the individuals with the different abilities are there. So option 1, 3 and 4 are correct. It is option number 1 the right answer. 2. Which of the following is not an effective strategy to address learners from disadvantaged and deprived backgrounds? Here you have to focus about the not thing. Which is not an effective strategy, you have to put in the mind. 1. Motivate the students to set moderately challenging goals and provide appropriate instructional support. 2. Form collaborative groups to work on activities and encourage students to support each other. 3. Talk to the learners to understand the needs and challenges faced by them. 4. Asking the learners to enroll for tuition outside of the school so that the teacher does not have to pay much attention to them. Here we have to look at the statement which is not effective, which is wrong. As a teacher, we should not follow for considering or for addressing the disadvantaged and the deprived background students. Motivate the students. Yes, motivation is always a positive thing. We should always motivate the students. We have to encourage the students to set the goals, not very high goal or a tough goal. We have to encourage them to set a moderate goal so that they can achieve it, and it can build confidence in them. And also we should help them. We should give instructional support, means we should help them to achieve that goal. This is the right thing. Form collaborative groups to the work on activities and encourage students to support each other. Yes, collaborative group works will help the students to support each other, and it also teaches the students to help one another. So collaborative works is a very positive statement, and it is a right thing. Talk to the learners to understand their needs and the challenges faced by them. As a teacher, whenever we see any student facing difficulty, we have to first speak to them and ask them and inquire them the difficulty they are facing. So option 3 is the right one. So here we have to focus on the not one. So option 4 is wrong. Why option 4 is wrong? Because asking the students to enrolling for the tuition, it is a very bad idea to address the learners from the disadvantaged and the deprived backgrounds. Option 4 is the right one. Next, Third one, physical and the emotional health of the children dash their learning. One is not related to. Two, has an insignificant role in. Three, does not have any influence on. Four, plays an important role. Physical and emotional health. These are very important. They play very important role in their learning. If the child is not physically fit, he cannot learn. If the child is emotionally fit or emotionally he is not healthy, the child always gets angry or child always cries. If the child is emotionally not healthy also, the child cannot learn. The child easily gets demotivated. The child always gives up. So the child should be both physically and emotionally healthy to learn. So it plays a very important role. Not related, insignificant, and does not influence are the negative statements. Fourth one, it is important to create dash learning environment in the classroom rather than dash one. Always the classroom environment should be 1. Fearful facilitative, 2. Competitive facilitative, 3. Collaborative and competitive, 4. Competitive and collaborative. The learning environment should be always collaborative and it should not be competitive. Collaborative means nothing but the learning environment should be collaborative means here the students should help one another. They should work in groups and they should learn from one another. But it should not be competitive because competitive may bitter the relationship. It may not develop a sense of helping one another. But if you are organizing a group work in the class, the students will help one another. So option 3 is the right one. Question number 5. Which of the following is an example of effective motivational strategy to encourage students to learn? What is an effective motivational strategy? Effective motivational strategy to encourage students to learn. 1. Giving tasks that are very easy. By giving very easy tasks, the children may not motivate. They will finish it off and then they will nicely play. But here we want to motivate and we have to encourage the students to learn. By giving easy activity, it's of no use. Creating a lot of opportunities for competition. Lot of opportunity is a good thing, but for competition is a negative one. Third one, providing scaffolding, especially when students learn a new skill. Yes, whenever they are learning new skill, students always face difficulty to learn a new skill. At that time, the teacher should provide the scaffolding, that is a support, temporary support given to the child by the teacher or a more knowledgeable person is called as scaffolding. Scaffolding means it is a temporary support. Later, the teacher should wean off. The teacher should allow the child to do himself. Scaffolding is a temporary support that should be given to the students when they are learning a new skill so that they get motivated to learn. Because here teacher is helping. Whenever they are facing difficulty, there is a teacher to help them. So she should be like a facilitator while the students are learning by themselves. Option 3 is the right one. And completion, our emphasis should not be on the completion of the work rather than the learning. Here, emphasis should be on the learning, not on the completion of the work. So option 4, option 1 and option 2 are wrong and option 1 is the right statement. This is an effective motivational strategy to encourage students to learn. Next, which of the following statements about children's thinking is not correct? 1. Children actively think about various phenomena around them and have an urge to explore. 2. Children are born with curiosity to learn about the world not around them. 3. Children construct their own theories about various phenomena around them. 4. Children cannot think of concepts on their own and the primary role of the teachers is to provide information. Here, which of the following statement is not correct regarding to the children's thinking? Children actively think about various phenomena. Yes, children always think about the phenomena, whatever happening around them, they want to know and they want to explore. This is right. Children are born with curiosity to learn about the world around them. Yes, they are born curious. They always want to learn what's happening around them. Children construct their own theories about various phenomena around them. Yes, they will be having their own idea. They will be thinking a different, whether it is right or wrong, they will be having their own opinion regarding any situation. So These three statements are right, and option 4 might be the wrong thing because children cannot think. See, in pedagogy, we should not say that children cannot think, children did not learn, children don't know anything. These are the negative statement. We should firstly only we have to cross it. This the fourth one is the negative statement. It was telling that the children cannot think of the concepts on their own, and see, children learn many things without the support of the elders. Right. So option 4 is the wrong statement regarding the children's thinking. So fourth one. Next. Learning is a dash and dash process. Simple and individual, complex and passive, complex and active, simple and linear. Learning is a complex activity. It is, see here, learning is not simple thing. Here learning is a complex thing because the child should connect his new knowledge with the old one. The child should do, in order to learn, the child should do many connections in his brain. So it is not a simple thing, it is a complex thing, but it is not passive. Complex and active. Learning is not simple, and learning is complex, but learning is active. It is an active process. When the child is active, only then he can learn. If he is passive, he is just listening, then he can't learn. The child can learn only when the all the senses are involving, or when he is doing an activity on his own. So option 3 is the right one. Next. A teacher should dash the social, cultural, religious and the linguistic diversity in her classroom to facilitate meaningful learning. 1. Understand. 2. Neglect. 3. Dismiss. 4. Ignore. When teacher is addressing the social, cultural, religious and the linguistic diversity in her classroom, at foremost thing what the teacher should do, she should understand or neglect or dismiss or ignore. As a teacher, we should always understand the social, cultural, religious and the linguistic diversity in the classroom. In a classroom, there will be many children with a different social, cultural, religious and the linguistic background. We should always understand it. We should not neglect or dismiss or ignore. These are the, see, by themselves they are the negative statements, right? So option 1 is the right answer. See, as a teacher, we should never dismiss, we should never ignore, or we should never neglect anything that is happening in the classroom. Everything the teacher should use it as a resource. Whatever the thing that is in the classroom, the teacher should learn to use it as a resource, not as a burden or a negligence. It is the option 1 the right answer. Next. In a dash classroom, teachers adapt their pedagogy and vary assessment to cater to individual students. In a dash classroom, teachers adapt their pedagogy and vary assessment to cater to the individual students. 1. Textbook centric. 2. Behavioristic. 3. Teacher centric. 4. Progressive. In which classroom the teacher will adapt her own pedagogy? In which classroom the teacher will be giving instruction or assessing the students to cater the individual, each and every individual? So assessment will be varying here. In which classroom the assessment will be varying to cater to the individual students. Each and every individual is given importance in which classroom. Not textbook centric. Textbook centric classroom means here textbook is a center. Just following the textbook and educating the children is the textbook centric classroom. But here the each and every individual is given importance. So textbook centric is the wrong option. Behavioristic means behaviorist always says gave importance to the behavior of the student. Teacher centric. Teacher centric classroom means here teacher is the center, the teacher will be teaching and the students will be listening. This is the teacher centric classroom. No, in progressive classroom, the students will be, or each and every individual is given importance. So in behavioristic classroom, only behavior was given, only the observation of the individual is the main thing, but not the each and every individual is important in the progressive classroom. Next, children's failure in the school means, if the children fails in the school, it means 1. Provides that these children have genetic birth defects and hence should be pulled out from the school. See, according to the pedagogy, we should never think that the child is having problem or child is having genetic defects or child is a passive, child don't know anything. These are the false statements. These are wrong. Signifies that parents have not been able to support their children to learn. See, this may or may not happen, and how can we say that the parents are not supporting? This is wrong. Suggests that the children from the deprived backgrounds are not capable of learning. See, if the child fails, we cannot say that the child is not having capability because he came from the deprived background. So this is the wrong statement. This indicates that the school has not been able to cater to the needs and interests of these children. If one child fails in the classroom, it means that the whole system was failed because the school is not able or teacher is not able to cater or meet the needs of the interest of the student. That means we are not teaching, the school is not teaching based on the interest or the ability of the student. Option 4 is the right option. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you have not yet watched my previous videos, please go to my channel and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.